our minds. We're going to do new. Do something else. Do more. Do the impossible. Do better. Do good. Do big. Do small. Do it wrong. Do it again. Do it ourselves. Do it together. Do what no one else has done. Do what will become big. Do the same. Do different. Do everything. Do something. Do new.
Hi, and welcome to today's webinar from Linköping University. Today we're going to focus on material science. I'm Carina Skärberg, working at International Student Recruitment, and with me today I have two representatives from the program, and they will introduce themselves shortly. First of all, some practicalities. The first part will be recorded and will be available on YouTube and streaming services. We will then focus on the program, its content, relevancy, and aim, for example. And secondly, there will be a live Q&A session for those attending live. And please wait till then to put your questions in the questions box. So once again, lovely to have you with us. So, Emma and Sanath, maybe you would like to introduce yourself. Emma, could you start, please?
Yes, thank you. My name is Emma Björk, and I'm an associate professor here at the university. I work in a group called Nanostructured Materials at the Department of Physics, Chemistry, and Biology. I have a physics background myself and a master in material physics. And now I'm working in material science, designing nanoporous materials that can be used for drug delivery and also for electrocatalysis and sensing, water splitting and recombination, carbon dioxide utilization, and stuff like that.
Exciting. And Sanath?
Yes, I am Sanath Kumar. I'm a PhD student in the Thin Film Physics division in the Department of Physics, Chemistry, and Biology. I have a master's in physics, and I work on low temperature processes for cutting tools and machining tools productions at LIU. Yeah.
Exciting. So we have a material science program. What is the aim of the program, Emma?
Well, the aim is, of course, to educate material scientists, because material science, it's such an important field for our future. In order to create a sustainable environment and a sustainable future for us, we need to develop new materials. It can be finding replacements for oil and gasoline, but it can also be carbon utilization, carbon capture, and very many different parts of our society, as Sanath mentioned, cutting tools and enabling new technology to develop.
Yeah. So what would you say set our program apart from other similar programs?
Well, first of all, I would like to mention that the material science research at Linköping University is very, very strong. It's really unique. And what differs our programs from others in Sweden is mainly that it's a 2-year program where you can spend 1 full year of doing your master's thesis. So you can really be embedded in a research group, but you can also do an industrial master thesis together with a company related to the university.
And talking about the program, maybe we should have a look at the curriculum first. That would be interesting. And here we have it. So, Emma, could you give us an overview of the program, maybe?
Absolutely. So we are starting, the 2 first semester is made by mandatory courses. So you're starting quite broad with chemical bonding and nanotechnology. So you get the good fundamental, or you all have the same fundamental knowledge to go further into the material science. And then we also have this course, experimental physics, where you can do a lot of experiments. So you will learn different characterization techniques, and you will also get hands-on training on these different experiments then. During the second year or second semester, you also have some theoretical courses like solid state physics and physical metallurgy, but you also do some project work. So you have advanced project work in applied physics, and then you also have the growth and characterization of nanomaterials, where you really get also a mixture of lab work and theoretical knowledge. And then during third semester, here you can choose yourself. So what you would like to do. So you can either continue taking courses. So if you're more interested in theoretical path, then you can take quantum mechanics and computational physics, or you can also do some more practical courses, or you can go more towards chemistry, or you can start your master thesis already here. And then during the fourth semester, then of course all of you will do your master thesis. So you can choose during the third semester either courses or projects, and in the fourth semester you will all do projects.
Okay.
Yes.
And you said also that there was some project work. Do we have any companies that you work with continuously, or what do we find in the region?
Yes, I mean, there are several companies that we are working with. So we both have smaller spin-offs from our research groups, but we are also having collaborations with small, medium enterprises and also larger companies in the region, all focused in material science. So often we have a research project where the industry asks a question or they have a problem that should be solved, and then we look at the fundamentals behind it.
Okay, yes, that's exciting. So if I understood you all right earlier, you also cooperate with Max Planck located in Lund?
Well, there's this synchrotron source called Max4, which is a large research facility where you can do different types of experiments where you need to have high energy X-rays. So then we can apply for time to go there and do experiments. And then usually you're there for 24 to 72 hours. You work those hours, and then you come home and you analyze your data. But we also have large research infrastructures at the universities. So we are hosting a big transmission electron microscopy center, and we also have the National Supercomputer Center, which is used by other universities, but it's hosted by us. Yeah. Yes.
So coming to a typical week as a master's student. Yeah, could you maybe start and you continue?
Yes, I mean, the weeks are of course different from week to week, but in general, it's every day is 4 to 8 hours of scheduled time, and that can include lectures, seminars, lessons where you are doing more problem solving, and then of course labs. And labs can be both theoretical, where you are doing simulations, but it can also be that you are doing something in the lab. And most times are between 8 and 5 in the day, but you can also have lab time between 5 and 9.
Yeah, that is what I've heard from a lot of the engineering programs. Is that your opinion as well?
Yes, I usually teach the master students in the labs, and usually it runs from 5 to 9 in the evening, and they are asked to prepare some questions and answers for that lab. So it's going to be full 4 hours.
During those labs, do they work in groups?
Yes, so usually they work 2 people in a group, so they work on one particular instrument, and then they shift for another experiment in one lab.
Yeah, so the workload, let's say at least 40 hours per week, definitely a full-time job. And you having a master's background quite recently, what would you say about going from bachelor's to master's and from master's to PhD studies?
Yes, so the workload increases, of
Mm,
course,
mm.
and you will learn more advanced physics or more advanced experiments you will do. So you will spend more time in your work. So it's more responsibility, I would say, towards going from bachelor's to master's and one step further to PhD. So
And you've also moved to Sweden quite recently. Yeah. What would you say were the big changes for you coming here?
yeah, so I'm from India, especially from the southern part of India, and the climate is quite warm and it's humid. So the first thing was the cold here.
Yeah.
So I knew about it, but the experience is quite different than when you experience yourself. So that was the one thing, and I was more surprised that Sweden is more cashless. So
Yeah, that's
it's no need to take too much cash when you come initially. So if you have a card that works, then it's super good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about challenges, Emma, you have been teaching a lot of different engineering students over the years. Do you find any common challenges for them that they should overcome, or areas that you know are demanding going from bachelor level to master's?
Well, it's a lot about this taking your own responsibility, that no one will spoon feed you. You need to know which parts are mandatory, where you should be, where you should go, what you should do, and so on. So you are expected to be prepared when you come, and also to be present and listen. Yeah.
We talk often about being an active student.
Yes.
And that means that you have an ongoing discussion with your professor or the teacher, and we address each other by first name. That's the way we do it here. So we want our students to challenge our teachers and think new ideas, because that's why we are here.
Exactly.
In the thesis project, maybe we should develop it a bit further. You said one could choose either a shorter version or a longer version. What would you say is the advantage of wanting to do a longer version?
Well, the main advantage is that you really get embedded in an environment. It can be a research group or it can be at a company, but as you're spending much longer period of time there, you will get to know them, you will know the habits, you will get into the field in a completely different way compared to when you do a shorter project. And that's of course good, both. I mean, if you do it in the research group and then you want to continue with PhD studies, then they know you very well. And also the research group around them knows you very well. So you will be well known at the department. And at the company, it can also be, if you do a good job, then you will have good recommendations for an industrial career later on. Of course, that's also valid if you do a good job for a shorter project. But you get more time to really go in depth in something if you do a longer one. But the shorter ones are also very good. You can often find a very nice research question. If you're doing something experimental, we are training our students to, for example, do their own material synthesis or material characterization. So you should really not only be fed with data, you should really do the project yourself. You should be in the lab, you should sit by a computer, you should do all the work yourself.
Learning by mistake, not always counting to be right the first time, and having the time to redo the lab, maybe. So when we talk about the application, we talk about target students. We do this in English. What would you say about English?
Yeah, so it's a basic requirement, I would say, and you should be able to express yourself. So it's not only learning, it's also about expressing what you have learned. That's more important. So you should have at least that level of English to take this program.
Both orally and in writing,
Exactly.
not to forget. And also, I guess, being able to do presentations.
Exactly.
because there are a lot of different exam modes here. I would say the classic one is to have a written exam. Could you say a few words about that, Emma, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, for most of the theoretical courses, we are doing written exams. And then it's usually a 4-hour or a 5-hour exam where you sit in a large room together with all the students and you take your exam. And the teacher will come once or twice and see if you have any questions. But we can also have examination in written reports. For example, if you have done a project, it can also be that you are presenting something at a seminar, or that you are doing smaller hand-in reports during a course time. Yeah. So it's a mixture.
Yep. And what would you say is the right background for the program when it comes to admission requirements?
Yes. The program is taken together, or most of the courses are taken together with students that are taking our program in applied physics or our master program in chemistry. So you can have a background in nanotechnology or material science, but it's good to have some physics as well. So of course a bachelor in physics or applied physics works very well, but you can also have a pure material science background or nanotechnology. We have also, the program is open for electrical engineering students as long as they have 30 credits of physics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 30 credits is equal to 1 semester of full-time studies, just to give you a vague idea when you look at your own transcript of records. So 30 credits is equal to 1 semester of full-time studies. However, it is the admissions team that will look into your transcript and your diploma and do the actual assessment. So you don't need to worry too much about that. Is there any requirement or any, do I have any advantage if I have certain programming skills with me when I come here as a master student?
Well, we're not. It's a good question.
Yeah.
We are not focusing so much on programming in this program, but of course, if you are interested in theoretical material science and modeling and so on, programming is very nice. I'm not an expert in which languages, but I know Python, for example, is very popular.
Okay. So that's good. So if we move on to student life, you are not just coming here being a student, you also have a life around your studies. And what was it like for you moving to Sweden and Linköping?
Yeah, so it was a new culture for me because in India it's quite different, and initially it was tough to make friends because they come from different parts of the world and have cultures, different habits. So it was quite tough. But as you move on in your courses, so you make more friends and get interested, and you also have lot of student associations or groups, so which organize more cultural events or sport events, and some trips as well to nearby attractions. So it's really good life, student life, and it's very easy to move around in the city. It's usually with the bike. And you have more concerts in Linköping, and it's easy to travel to other cities if you have any cultural programs going on in Sweden. So it's really nice to be here.
What do you do on your spare time?
Yeah, I usually travel a lot. I travel to within Sweden as well as in EU for that matter, and I usually listen to musics because I'm a PhD student. There will be a lot of research going on, so I need to relax a bit. So
that's so natural.
Yeah, so that's what I do.
Yeah, you talked about making friends. When I get this question, I usually ask students to bring the interest with you that you already have. If you are into sports, theatre, journalism, whatever during your bachelor studies, then continue during your master studies as well. Even because it's a way both of meeting Swedish students, meeting other students, and also, as you said, relaxing kind of, I need to decompress. And especially it would require a lot of energy, I think, during the first semester, because you're moving, a lot of you will be moving to a new country, new habits, new food, everything will be new, and it will require a lot of energy. So you also need to think about the things that gives you energy. And then I think your spare time interest is an excellent way of regaining both new friends and energy. So, is there something in particular that you would wish you had known before coming here?
Yeah, I would say about the accommodation.
Yeah.
Because you need to apply as you apply for the program. So the sooner you apply, so the better it is to get a chance for a good accommodation. But still, if you don't, you can come here, stay in a more temporary ones, and then it's much easier to find a better accommodation for a long haul. So, but it's good to start early. So
when it comes to accommodation, the same applies to all university cities in Sweden. Apply early. In Linköping, you register online. It's totally free of charge. You gain queuing points, 1 point per day. So the longer you've been in the queue, the better are your chances of gaining access or actually getting a dorm room or a studio apartment when the landlords release the new rooms in mid-July. So even though you're not sure whether you actually think of moving here, do apply for registration, because this is what all the Swedish students do. So that's why, in order for you to compete with them on getting a good accommodation, I mean, the majority of master students, they are moving around. They have a short-term solution, maybe a month or 2 months or 1 semester, and then they move to a final choice, which is better after a certain time and more to their liking. I know some master students, they prefer to rent together a larger apartment. So they are maybe 3-4 master students living in a villa or in a large apartment, sharing the cost and also having some social life. I know that's quite usual because everybody is looking for a small studio. So the availability of larger apartments is much better, actually. So when it comes to also students' associations, we have the European Student Network and the International Student Associations. Both of them are very active here in Linköping, and especially in August and September, they organize a lot of activities so that you can meet new people and get to know each other. We think it's really important that you make friends here, and the large majority of the students coming here are moving into the region. So everybody is looking for new friends. That's actually true. And we are, as you said, quite close. We are about 1.5 hours from Stockholm. We are about 3 hours from Copenhagen. If you wish to go down to Denmark, you can fly here. If you fly via KLM, via Amsterdam, or you take the train from Southern Europe. So I think that's all for this part, actually. So I should say thank you to those of you who've been watching this recording. And of course, if you have any further questions, you can go to the program homepage and send us a question there via the Contact Us form. Or you choose to listen to our podcast, Fika with Us, to know more about student life. You can follow us on Instagram as well. So there are many ways to get to know more, and don't hesitate to get in touch with us. I hope you have enjoyed this so far, and now we will go over to the live Q&A session. Thanks again for watching.
Okay, great. Well, that's where I come back in. And we have indeed already received questions from the audience. Thank you for those questions already. This is indeed the moment to write them through the panel called questions at the bottom. And just to make sure also, if you're watching the recording, you can still write your questions here as well. We will indeed not, of course, be able to answer them live. However, we will be sending them through to the staff of Linköping University. Okay, a question from Lou. How much are the fees to apply for a master?
The tuition fee is 280,000 Swedish kroners, which is about 25,000 US dollars. And you pay in installments, 4 all in all. So you divide those 25,000 with 4, and you pay. The first one is due 15th of May, actually, if you are admitted late March.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Omar. I don't have experience in physics. Is it possible to start off zero?
I would spontaneously say no, but you can maybe add a bit more developed idea on that.
Yes, I mean, all the courses that we have here is on an advanced level. So even though, I mean, you are not obliged to have a physics degree, as I mentioned. You can have for bachelor in material science or nanotechnology, but there you often have like a fundamental understanding of materials, how they are made up. So we are starting with a course in chemical bonding where you will get to know things about crystal structure and different types of chemical bonds, but it still requires that you have heard something about quantum physics. So you should have some knowledge from before. Yes.
And a large interest, of course.
Yes.
And I guess that depending on your background, you will have a different skill set with you into the classroom. But that's also a reason why we have group works, so that you learn from each other.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, great. I hope that answered the question, Omar. Otherwise, let us know. Bowie has a question. Do they give students the opportunity to participate in actual research?
Absolutely. If I just can jump in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're so much welcome to join in actual research. Many of the courses that we have are addressing material synthesis techniques that we are doing or working on a daily basis in research. You will hear lectures from different research groups telling about their materials and how we apply them. And then, of course, in the thesis work, I mean, you will be embedded in a research group. It will be active research. We are not designing projects where we know the outcome. Because you should be a part of how we develop things.
Yeah, because some of you might find your future career as a researcher. So that's why also being part of a research group as a master's student is quite important, I would say.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And well, we got the thumbs up, I see. So I guess that's answering that question. Otherwise, let us know. Timur has a question. I'm from Russia, he says, and can I enroll in a master's degree program in Europe? So, of course, with Linköping.
Yes, I think you should have a look at universityadmissions.se due to the present events. But all countries have their specific requirements listed on that website. So that is the first to go website for me.
Okay. And also mentioning in that regard, in the chat, I actually put the link to how to apply. That goes to the website of Linköping University. There you find more details. You will be asked to choose your program. So, of course, in this case, it will be the material science program. And it says start your application. And that's where you'll find the link to the website that Karin just mentioned. So the Swedish Institute. And University Admissions, I think it's called.
Yes,
right?
University Admissions.
Sorry, that's the one. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was mixing up with the next question because that is about the Swedish Institute. Can I apply to the Swedish Institute scholarship? Was a question from Lou.
Okay. Usually Linköping University have some Swedish Institute scholarships. They might be linked to certain programs, so I would check that as well. Otherwise, when it comes to scholarships, we do offer the LIU scholarship as well. So I would go to the LIU website and have a look there. In order to apply for them, you have to have LIU listed as your first choice when it comes to ranking. Actually, in Sweden, you can only be admitted to one program. So number 2, 3, and 4, they're actually more or less your reserve programs in case you are not admitted to your first choice. So, and there will only be one scholarship holder, usually per program. And the tuition fee is reduced usually by 50%. So you should still be able to carry your cost of living, of course, and about 50% of the tuition fee.
Okay, thank you. I put the link on the screen just before, so there's where you can click through and find the link to the scholarships from the website. Next question from Nishan. Is there any GPA requirement for the admission to the course?
There is no GPA requirement, but of course, the higher grades, the better it is. Margit, do you agree?
Well, yeah, the easier it will be,
Yeah.
or easy. Yeah.
Both for you and for the attending students.
Yes.
Yes. Be well prepared, having good grades. Always a good thing when you go for a master.
Good. And question from Anna Laura. Can a civil engineer apply for this program?
Yes, it depends on which type of civil engineer you are. But if you have, if you are an engineer in physics or applied physics, that should be fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Because then you have your bachelor degree, and then you can be admitted.
If you're uncertain, I recommend you to apply. The admissions department, they will assess your syllabus. In case you think that I need to upload and prove anything, you upload a syllabus for a certain course, and they will assess it. And in case they have any questions, they will get back to you. And the final decision will be sent out 21st of March to all applicants this year. So no matter if you apply early or late, you will be assessed in the same process and notified on 21st of March.
Okay. Thank you. I hope that answered all of those questions so far. I don't see any other question at this stage, but yeah, we still have a couple of minutes left. So if you have any questions, this is your moment. Ask away to one of the panelists, either about the missions or student life we already heard about. Maybe you still want to know how it is to live in Linköping or something else. Yeah, this is the moment. Also for the people again in the recording, go ahead and ask as well. Let's see if there's any questions to chat. I see there's another question that came in actually just now from Lou. Is it difficult to find housing?
Yeah, it is a bit tricky, like in all university towns. So if I were you, if I were thinking about coming to Linköping to study, I would definitely go online and register with heimstaden.com, and I would also register with studentbostäder.se. It's free of charge. You just register right now and you get 1 point per day. And in mid-July, when they release their available rooms from 1st of August or 1st of September, they will give the opportunity to the students that have the most queuing points. That's the process, so there's no money involved. Of course, students, they go online, they use Facebook, they use the student associations as well to find somewhere to stay, because we always have Swedish students going abroad for a semester or two, and then they post their available dorm rooms or studios on Facebook. But my best advice is not to pay any money up front. You have to arrive here and actually see the room or the studio you're interested in. That's the way to go. And this process, finding somewhere to stay, it might be actually more demanding than actually doing the application process. Yeah, that's a more developed answer, I think.
Okay, good. Thank you. Talis has a question. He's a physics graduate from Greece. He's done research by an undergraduate thesis in spin coating and ITO electrodes, and also been trained on SEM and EDX. Are there any groups specializing on organic electronics that could use this skill set? I don't know if you can say something about that.
Yeah, we have a really world-leading group in organic electronics. It's at the Department of Science and Technology. It's located in Norrköping, which is also one of our campuses. And we have a campus bus going between Linköping and Norrköping. But they are really good at this, and there should absolutely be a possibility of doing a master project there. When it comes to the skill set that you have with SEM and EDX and so on, that's also something that we are using for other types of materials at the Department of Physics, Chemistry and Biology. So it's a great background for doing different experimental projects.
And you would like to add something, maybe?
No, it's really useful if you have a prior experience with any techniques. So it reduces your time that you spend initially when you're starting within your project. So that's really good skill set to have.
Yeah. And Emma, you mentioned the campus bus, and that brought me to the question of how big is Linköping? Linköping is a medium-sized city, I would say, in the world. In Sweden, it's considered one of the major cities. We are 165,000 inhabitants here. We bike everywhere, and we even bike in wintertime. So there's no distance. From town center, it's 4 kilometers to the main campus. From the main student dorm area in Ryd, it takes you 7 minutes by bike, even in wintertime. We go a bit slower in wintertime because it might be slippery and snowy, but we do bike the entire year.
Okay, thank you for that addition. All right, question from Nishan. How is the graduate employment rate?
Yeah, usually I think it's in a general sense that about 30% of our master students, they continue as PhD students afterwards, either in Sweden or abroad. 9 out of 10 find their first job within less than a year. I think it's 6 to 9 months. So we're actually top rated when it comes to the employability.
Great, thank you. And we're getting thumbs up there as well. So good to hear. And let's see if we have any further questions. I don't see any in the question tabs. There's one to the chat actually from Anna Laura. Is there any kind of discount on the fee application for third world countries?
No, I'm sorry. There is an application fee, 900 Swedish kronor, and we don't have any tuition fee waivers or any discounts. That is the administration fee that goes for all non-EU citizens, I'm sorry to say.
Okay, thank you. We do have another question from Thalis. Do I have to submit an SOP transcript of records or a letter of recommendation?
No letter of recommendation, no statement of purpose, just the documents asked for if you follow the application process. No letter of reference, for example.
Okay. Hope that answered that for Thalys as well. Just to make sure, I'll put the link on how to apply on the screen, so the application process and yeah, also the requirements. You can see that right there. If you click on it, you can browse through it at your own pace just after the session, and there you find a lot of information and how to apply and what to submit. Okay, let's see if there's any other question at this stage. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you, Thalys, you as well. And well, before we slowly start wrapping up the session, unless there's still a question comes in, we can still take it. I've been asking questions to the audience as well through the polls. So do let us know your poll feedback, please. It is appreciated to know, yeah, a bit about you. So we know now that, yeah, most people have engineering and physics backgrounds that are joining, so that's good to see. Most people found most important in selecting the University of Linköping due to the quality of professors and also the international touch. So that is very nice to see that feedback. And the majority that joined today is looking to apply for fall 2024. So good to see, because that's what we do it for, to get you maybe in the seats next year. And they might be joining maybe even the webinar next year, as we currently have Sana joining. So yeah, hopefully this is useful to all of you. No further questions I see. So with that, I can drop it over to you, Carina, for the last words to round off the session.
So thank you very much, Emma and Sanat, of course, for attending. And thanks for those of you hanging on to the Q&A session as well. And of course, if you, after a few minutes, realize that, oh, I forgot to ask this, you just go to the program homepage and there's a contact us form. You send away the question there and we get back to you within 24, 48 hours. And I hope, of course, to see you here in August. Take care. So long. Bye-bye.
Bye.